Hey everyone, I'm the man behind the cam, aka Silent Assassin. My name's Dan. I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. First off, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy new year. Hope everyone's safe. And I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of 2012. And since this is the first episode of 2012, I'd like to talk about the albums to look forward to for this year. Now what I'm going to do is separate this into two different categories. I'm of course going to talk about the already confirmed albums that already have an album name and release date, and then I'm going to talk about bands who are either recording demos or have tentative plans, and they may or may not come out with an album this year, and it's kind of something to keep an eye on. So first, let's start off with the confirmed album releases. Now, I'm going to be talking about these albums in the order that they will be released. First comes from the band Lamb of God, who has an album coming out January 24th. Now, they always seem to put out really heavy, really aggressive sounding records with every album they put out. And I'm sure this is just going to be much more the same, much more in your face. It's definitely an album to look forward to. Next comes from the band Bleeding Through, who has an album coming out January 31st. Now, for a couple albums now, they've kind of infused symphonic black metal into their sound by incorporating more of their keyboardists, really giving it that dark edge, really pushing themselves away from all the metalcore bands, kind of, you know, making them stand out on their own a bit, which is good, and I'm sure this is only going to be much more of an evolution on that. Next comes from a German metalcore band by the name of Caliban. Now, I know they're not really too well known over here in the States, but they are quite good. They've done some of the best breakdowns that I've ever heard. And from what I've been hearing, there's going to be more of that in this next album, so I highly recommend you check it out. Next comes from this band right here, who has an album coming out on the 13th of March. Now, ever since Max has decided to do Cavalier Conspiracy, Soulfly has had a bit more of a thrashier sound, and, you know, being, you know, who I am and how much I love thrash metal, that's really a huge plus for me, and it's always fun to listen to what else they're going to be putting out. So next, I'm going to be moving away a bit from the metal genre, and since this is the next album in the release date order, I'm of course talking about the band Shinedown, who has an album coming out March 27th. From what I can gather, if you're already a fan of Shinedown, you're probably going to like this new album. I heard recently a new song that's going to be on the album that sounds pretty damn good. I believe Brent Smith is one of the best vocalists in rock music. You know, the song sounded pretty heavy, and there are solos which just seem to be lacking in their last album, which I'm sure is going to be good, and it's going to make this album pretty good as well. Now, the last album that I heard recently that's going to be coming out this year, it comes from a band by the name of Testament. One of my favorite thrash metal bands of all time. Has an album coming out April 27th. Now, they always put out really heavy, really kick-ass releases. The age really hasn't slowed them down at all, so if you're tentative about that, don't be. You should definitely go check them out. Now it's time to talk about the bands who have talked about possibly releasing stuff this year, who are recording demos, which may or may not come out this year. I don't know, but I think that they're all worth talking about. Now, I'm going to try to group this as best as I can by genre. I'm sure I may mess it up a little bit, but I'm going to do the best what I can, and I hope you can bear with me through this. First, I'm going to be starting off with thrash metal bands. It has been rumored that Anthrax have been recording some new demos. I don't know if anything's going to be coming out this year. It's very rare to see a band come out with 2 albums in 2 years, but I wouldn't put it past them if they did. Next band by the name of Kreator, which is one of my favorite thrash metal bands. I've been looking forward to this since their last release. They're heavy as hell, some of the best instrumentals, and their vocalists really aggressive, really in your face, always good stuff. Next comes from Metallica. It's been a little while since they've released anything, coming from Death Magnetic being their most recent release. I think if they can continue off of that, they can make an album just as good as that, if not better. Next, it comes from the band Overkill. Now, I haven't really heard too much about this. I've only heard that there have been talks and they've been recording demos, so I can't really speak too much about it because, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be coming out with anything this year, but it is entirely possible. Next comes from Slayer, another one of those real classic thrash metal bands. I haven't really heard too much from them either, to be honest. Another band that just seems to be recording demos. I'm not really sure how much stock to really put into it. I mean, I'm sure you can check any of their band pages, maybe something on their Wikipedia page or something. I haven't really seen anything yet. Alright, now moving away from that, going into power metal. First comes from the band Blind Guardian, who I've been hearing, they've been recording demos, possibly a release this year. And if they did, it would be awesome. They are the prototypical power metal band. All the themes are there. You know, we're always epic sounding, and I'm sure this is going to even be more epic sounding than ever. Next, it comes from DragonForce. I have heard some of their in-studio stuff with their new lead singer. Sounds pretty awesome. I do believe this album will come out this year. Once again, I don't know when. There hasn't really been any confirmed releases. But it's definitely one to keep an eye out for because this is their first album with their new lead singer. Now, going back a bit to talk about some older bands. First off, from Alice in Chains. I was really impressed with their comeback album. I'm sure they'll only get better as time goes on, and I'm sure, you know, they're just going to ascend from what their last album was. Next, Soundgarden. I was a bit surprised to hear about this when they reunited. Of course, when any bands reunite for another album, it's always newsworthy, and it's always something that I think that would be worth checking out, regardless of if it's good or if it's bad. Let's see, what else we got? A band by the name of 3 Inches of Blood. The only real way that I can describe them is go listen to Judas Priest's song Painkiller, and that's 3 Inches of Blood. They're always a lot of fun to listen to. They always talk about wars and battles and all these other things. They're always a lot of fun to listen to. Next comes from the band Fear Factory. This is going to be their second album with their new lineup. Their last album was heavy as hell, was pretty awesome. I think any fan of Fear Factory will probably like this next album. I haven't heard anything, but I'm almost certain just with the combination of the people they got in that band, I'm not sure how it could be bad. Next goes by the band of Muse. I have been into this band for a few years now. They have a very unique sound. Their instrumentals always impress me. This is another one where I haven't heard much from, but I have heard tentative plans for them to release some sort of album this year. If I hear anything, I of course will let everyone know, but that will be something to keep an eye out for as well. And the last band that I'm going to be talking about is the band Tool. They have been one of my favorite bands for some time now. I know the lead vocalist has many different projects, but finally there have been talks of them possibly releasing something this year. And, you know, it's always something to look forward to whenever you hear Tool's going to be recording something and possibly releasing it. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, those are the albums that I think you all should be checking out this year, confirmed or non-confirmed. First, I'd like to apologize. I was rambling on a bit there, but I do believe all these albums should definitely be heard. I tried to cover as many genres as I could. I hope I did a decent job. But I'd like to hear from you guys now. What is the album that you're looking forward to most this year? Something I mentioned? Or is it something that I possibly overlooked? Now, please leave all that information below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Go back and watch all my other episodes. Follow me on Twitter. I assure you it'll be nothing dumb like, oh, I'm taking a shower, or oh, I'm going to the mall. None of that. Besides, that's usually how stalkers are born. So anyway, do tell your friends, and until next time.